Hey guys, Haley here. I'm here with Kieran and we are doing a long distance Q&A today. So yesterday I uploaded a story on Instagram asking people to ask us questions about our long distance experience because I've actually gotten a lot of messages recently about that and just like asking for advice and everything. So we thought we'd just make a video on it so that people can watch it instead. So first question, with long distance, how do you stay connected? How do you handle arguments with distance? The first part of the question, how do you stay connected? I think a huge part of it for me was making sure that we had time to FaceTime almost every day. Like,
it was every day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was when we could.
Yeah.
It was pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So that you're not necessarily communicating 24/7. Basically what worked the best for us, I think, is making sure that we set up one time every day that we would call. So we kind of communicated when I woke up in the morning because of the time difference and said, okay, we can call it this time today, and made sure that we coordinated to make it happen.
Yeah. So usually it'd be your midday and my evening.
Yeah.
Because of the 8-hour time difference.
Yeah. So pretty much it was fairly unfortunate for me because it was smack dab in the middle of my days that we would be communicating.
I'm sorry.
But luckily it's COVID anyways, and like I wasn't doing that much besides like going out, so I just kind of molded my errands around when I was going to talk to Kieran. It is difficult sometimes, not gonna lie, and a lot of the time I did feel a little bit disconnected from the people that I was like at home with because I was always trying to like figure out a time to call. But at the same time, it's like really important to do that for the relationship.
Yeah, so the main thing would be to fix a time when you're going to call.
And make sure that you're doing FaceTime. Like, don't just text. It's so important to like see face to face and like talk. Yeah. And then how do you handle arguments with distance was the second part of this question.
Did we argue? Maybe at the beginning when we were just getting used to calling each other every day.
It wasn't arguments, it was more so just like a disagreement, like I thought you were gonna call me this time. I thought you were gonna talk to me at this time, sort of thing, right?
So, yeah, so sort of just knowing, like we said before, organize the time so you both know when you're gonna call each other.
Yeah, if you are feeling angry or like you know, need to kind of express your anger, do not do it over text.
Yeah.
Don't do it over text, it's so bad. So just try, if you can, to call. I think it's just so much better to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, always calling. Second question, how often do you see each other? So, this one is kind of complicated.
Basically, when we do see each other, it's for like a couple of months straight. And then when we don't see each other, it's for a couple of months straight as well. So it's never like I see you for a day or two, and then I don't see you, obviously, because you live in America. So when you're over here, you're staying for months on end.
Yeah.
And then when we don't see each other, it's also for months on end. So it sort of just works both ways.
Yeah, I think in a weird way with COVID, it's kind of been easier for me to be able to stay in the UK longer. Obviously COVID is not a good thing, it's not a positive, but in some way it has allowed me at least to come here and stay longer, so it allows for us to be longer, you know, together longer.
Also the visa's like 6 months for you.
So for a US citizen coming to the UK, it is without any visa, like you don't need anything, just traveling. You can come for 6 months, which is really helpful. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult with different places, but England is actually the best. So 6 months is a good amount of time, and we've been lucky for me to be able to do that and come and stay with him and him host me, so.
Luckily my family have been very understanding about you being here for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
But they love you, so that also helps as well.
Yeah. How is the time zone affecting you?
That's sort of what we answered before, isn't it? If you're here with me, obviously there isn't any time zone.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're obviously in America, plan when you're going to call each other. And obviously it is difficult at times.
It is, and I think sometimes when I would wake up and I know that it's like 5 p.m. for you, it was so weird. But I think, you know, a big part of that is just communication. When are we going to talk? you know, when you talk on the phone, you can say like, oh, what are you gonna do in the day tomorrow, so that you don't feel like completely lost when you wake up, because sometimes it's just like weird and disorienting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Question number 3. What is a top tip to stay focused and productive whilst being apart? That's a good question.
I mean, I have training and coaching to do during the day, so I was always sort of productive.
Your career forces you to be motivated and
Busy.
productive because you have to, like, you're set to a schedule, you have to do this, you have to do this.
Yeah.
I would say that it's maybe a little bit easier for you to stay like productive because it's like set for you, you know? For me, I think something that's important is when I know that it's time for me to work or it's time for me to do classes or whatever else, I put my phone to the side and like do not look at it while I'm doing anything, because I know that I'll get distracted, because we would be like texting or Snapchatting or whatever, and it's too distracting to get any work done because I always want to talk to him, especially when we're apart. So putting your phone away. Also, something that helps is getting your stuff done when your partner is also busy. That would help me a lot.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so like if I knew you had training at so-and-so time, I'd be like, okay, when he's at training, he's not gonna be able to talk, so I'm gonna do my classwork, or I'm gonna do this because it's a perfect time for me to do that. So just kind of keeping up with each other's schedules, being really open about that, and then just kind of molding it a little bit. 4th question, what is the longest that you've been apart, and what was the hardest thing about it?
The longest would be when you went back to America after lockdown last year.
Yeah.
And then you came to visit me in France.
Yeah.
3 months. 3 months, yeah.
So the longest that we've been apart is 3 months, and that was after the initial lockdown when we were together for 5 months, and then we were away for 3.
Yeah. What was the second part of the question?
What's the hardest thing about it?
The fact that COVID, and we didn't really know when you'd be able to come back over and see me.
That was definitely the hardest part. When we left each other, especially when I left to go back home to America, it was like heartbreaking, not gonna lie, because we both had no idea, like, what if UK closes their borders? What if America never reopens their borders? Like, not never, but for a long time.
But it's the fact that I knew I was going to France.
Yeah.
That just changes things completely.
Yeah.
Because the rules in France are different to the rules in England, so that was another thing that was hard for us, because we didn't know if you'd be able to come over to France for, we didn't know how long you'd be able to come over for.
And getting over to France was way harder than getting to the UK. So just knowing everything before I left, and with COVID, I would agree with you, is probably the hardest part. It's so much uncertainty. When I think in a long distance relationship, usually without COVID, people are like, you're able to say when you're leaving, okay, I'll see you in blank, or you know, but we didn't really have that luxury, so we kind of just had to play along with it, work with it, and that was really hard.
That was actually really tough. That was tough. So the fact that you actually were able to come into France, or get into France, was actually quite lucky. A big part of it was luck, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was luck and a lot of research, community, getting together with people who also are experiencing the same things as me, learning from what they've done, which is exactly why I'm making this video, because I feel like it's so important for people in long distance relationships to like, okay, I'm not the only one struggling right now, because it is really hard at times, but then when you are together, it's the best. Are there any, this one's the last one.
What do you mean last one?
Isn't it?
No, there's 8.
Oh, yeah, okay. Next question, are there any positive sides to being apart? I would say, obviously it's better to be together, because even when you are together, you can create independent time, like away from one another, like doing your own stuff. However, for me, I think a positive side to being apart is like spending quality time with my family. That's a big one, because when I'm at home, I am with my family, like living with my family. So especially during COVID and stuff, it was nice to be able to spend like kind of quality interrupted time. I think in a normal relationship, it's like you're seeing the person one day and then not seeing them and then seeing them again the next day, sort of thing, or they're kind of always over, whatever, but you kind of have a bit more like uninterrupted family time. And I think it can be really difficult. I kind of talked about this already. When you're with your family, you can get really distracted, or friends, whatever people you're with, you can get distracted by like, oh, I really miss my significant other, and like be upset and stuff. But I think it's important to remember when you're away, you're really away, far away, especially if it's a different country. So try and enjoy that like time together when, you know, it's not interrupted.
Yeah.
What about you? So there's basically no positive speech, right? Cute online date ideas.
Which is the next question.
Yes. I am passionate about this one because I was always telling Kieran that we should do like different dates and stuff on FaceTime. So I think the most important part of a online date is actually dressing up like you're going on the date, getting ready for the date, and having a plan. I
think, yeah, what you did really well is like, say, it would be a good idea if we like went on a date, but obviously over call. And that's actually quite, first time for me, and that's quite cool. I dressed up, like on a Zoom thing, I got my dressed up from top half smart, and I wore shorts, like on a. But it was actually really cute. It was a cute
outfit.
Yeah, it was a really cute idea of Phil's to do that. Cook at the same time and eat at the same time.
Yeah, so that's one of the cute date ideas, is making a meal at the same time and eating. Obviously with the time difference, it was always lunch for me and dinner for Kieran.
Yeah.
And a pretty late dinner for Kieran, but it was really fun. Sometimes we would try and make like similar things too.
Yeah, and then afterwards we'd do was it Netflix?
Yeah.
We'd go on Zoom and you'd share your screen to Netflix and we'd just watch something together.
Yeah.
As if, you know, as if we're spending the evening together. So we'd cook and eat together, and then you'd share your screen and we'd watch a movie.
Then we make sure that we like talk and stuff before we go.
That was a cute idea.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, I came up with all the ideas. All right, the very last question of today. How do you stay positive when apart, obviously?
I think if you trust each other and you're in love with your significant other, then that should keep you going until you're next to each other.
I think, yeah, just hanging on to the moments that were amazing when you were together is really important. Making sure, you know, you have those memories to look back on and reflect on. There's not a lot else you can do besides that, but like Kieran said, you have to trust each other. That's like so big. And if you feel like you can't trust them about something, you just need to say, even though it's scary sometimes, you just need to say it, because it's gonna affect the relationship if you don't say something, and it'll help you stay positive too.
Yeah. Being confident that it's gonna work, know that it's gonna work, and trust one another.
Yeah.
And look forward to the calls that you're gonna do. Look forward to the online dates. Look forward to doing things that you would do in person.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was definitely always looking forward to every call and everything when I could just tell you something about my day. So, nothing else really. So, to sum up this video, we kind of wanted to give 3 main points about the best things that you can do to make sure that your long distance relationship is flourishing and just, you know, you guys are both staying happy. Number 1 would be organizing a fixed time when you guys are going to call each other, hopefully every day if you guys can, but if you can't, setting up the times during the week that you guys can call and making it happen. Yeah. Sticking to the schedule.
Number 2 would be make the calls interesting. Go on a date on your call. That was a good one for me. That was really like sort of spiced up the call instead of just talking, which is great, obviously, but like it's something different in the call.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you go on a normal date, you don't just sit there and talk the whole time. So it's nice to actually do something you do in your life.
It's not like a date. It's like if you were here with each other, you cook together, you'd eat together. So doing the same thing but over call. Yeah,
exactly. So online dates. So the third and last point is make sure that you are always communicating any worry or
doubts or thoughts. Just communicate it with each other.
Yes.
That's a huge one.
Yes, make sure that that is always communicated, because it will cause problems if it's not. Alright guys, that is our video on long distance relationships. I hope that if you are watching this, you find some of it useful and it helps you in your long distance relationships. If you have any more questions that you want to ask us or things that we've been through, drop them in the comments below and we'll make a part 2. And before you go, you know what to do. Make sure to subscribe before you leave and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. All right, we'll see you guys next week.